Many entrepreneurs work from a place of solitude. Success doesn't come with the numbers of people. That's why we always find out there's always one person behind a brand. 76% of entrepreneurs start their businesses alone. But why don't they bring in a team? Because they need to figure out every area, how it works, what it relates to, and how they're going to scale, and what the challenges, perceived challenges, they may experience. So that means most successful entrepreneurs were just willing to take action. No investors, no big team, just a vision and determination. I am the Millennial Coach. Welcome to the core. And this, my people, today, we are talking about what builds success. And that answer is solitude. It's not always about people. It's actually about how you go it alone, because that's when you're going to face your biggest challenges and also your biggest wins. So I want to give you a story on solitude. J.K. Rowling. And if you are a fan of Harry Potter, and I'm going to admit, never seen a Harry Potter film before in my life. So I want to apologize in advance. But before she became the woman we know her today, J.K. Rowling, she was rejected by 12 publishers. Imagine person after person saying, this book is basically trash. That book that she wrote, if you go to King's Cross Station in London, St. Pancras, there is something dedicated to the story of the train, is it platform 3 3/4. So you can actually go and see some history of Harry Potter in the world today in the UK. And that's having been rejected, not just once, but 12 times. And I know what that feels like, even doing the work that I do. You could pitch to people and you get rejected. They don't really understand, what leadership is. And then they will get one of the big fives. They will get Deloitte, they will get, Accenture, whoever. And there's nothing wrong with those organizations, but they don't teach the stuff I teach at the level I teach it and the detail and the intricacies that I teach it. The right organizations and the right people will flock to you in your early days. The big companies come to you later because your success has really created a boom. And we look at Harry Potter, that created a boom with the books. Then it was turned into films. And that launched the careers of so many people, including Daniel Radcliffe. Growth doesn't always come with a support system. Sometimes it just starts with you. So today, let's talk about the power of going solo. And I'm not suggesting this is the only way to build success, but I am saying that this is something that we as entrepreneurs and leaders face at a high level that goes unspoken. I am the Millennial Coach. You're locked into the core. So on that note, I want you to like, subscribe, and share. But let's get into today's conversation. Yalla, let's go. Yanko.
Hey everyone, this is Hill Street Soul. And you're tuned in to the core with the Millennial Coach, discussing topics on real life. Check it out. Everywhere you go, don't forget the ghetto. Listen to the core. Don't forget the ghetto. With the Millennial Coach. Don't forget the ghetto. 'Cause it's the best show.
So challenge of growing alone. The problem is that it is a lonely road. And it's funny because I spoke to a multi-property millionaire, was it about 2 weeks ago, and we had lunch. And she said to me, I'm alone. And I said to her, yeah, it's gonna stay like that for a while. What it is that people need something from you, and you're chasing your dream, but you're also helping people chase their dream. So you're the lead. There's nobody leading you. So you need to understand that your vision needs to be strong enough that people want to actually go on your journey with you. And that's why when you're starting off, you've got to do it alone. You've got to make the mistakes. And some mistakes, I might add, are incredibly expensive. If you've never lost money, you've never invested in people, you've never turned up late, missed an opportunity, you've not gone to networking events, you've not tried to do it alone and failed 50,000 times, then you are in the wrong game. If everything has come easy, then you know that you might be building something that doesn't have a foundation of strength. The thing about going it alone, the thing that many people don't see is that you are always going to learn and improve yourself. And that involvement is actually giving you the credibility and the mastery that is building your confidence and your competence. And the reason growth requires solitude, if you're into the Bible, you're Christian, Jesus walked for 40 days, was in the forest or wherever he was, and you're looking for answers. Those 40 days could feel like 40 years. So when you are in solitude, you're really in tune and aligned to your spirit to hear the word of whoever you call God. And the reason I say that is that you make better decisions. You're not under duress. You're not under influence of somebody else. You're under your spiritual own guidance. That is what solitude allows you to do, is make healthy decisions and also be very critical and objective when you have made a decision, and also evaluate when things have gone wrong. Holding yourself accountable is part of the solo journey because there's no one else to blame. Most people, if we think about organizations, if you are working on your entrepreneurship and you are currently working, keep working. But what you will notice is that people in the workplace always have someone else to blame. There's no accountability. It's not like, oh, I want to hold my hand up to that. That's why people don't have the level of respect that they want in the workplace, but also it's because they don't tell the truth. When you are a solo project, you have got to tell the truth in order to get to the next phase. So think about that. What it does, your solo focus, it gives you clarity and focus. It also gives you self-reliance. If you can't fix something today, you have to figure out a way to fix it. When you're working in an organization, there's something's not working, you're going to the department to find them so they can help you make it work. This is the difference between having an entrepreneurial mindset versus an employee mindset. Because when you're an entrepreneur, you know you're going to take a hit. So you've got to rely on your internal skills. And also, you're driven by your intrinsic values. The other thing when you go it alone, there's no one to ask, is this right? Sometimes, I'm going to be honest, I have stopped doing things in a certain way because when you're not asking for permission, and it's not permission I need, things are too expensive to make mistakes now. So I'm not looking for permission, I'm looking for guidance. So sometimes I don't do something until I feel confident that the guidance I have will minimize the risk. But one of the other things when you go it alone, you increase your mental toughness. Most people in this life have it easy, especially UK. That's why everyone's rushing here to get benefits. Because you can be a professional who is got a house from the government and gets your money from the government every week. And then you'll be, not all of them, and this is just me being facetious, but some of them are in Greggs, wiping out Greggs, getting all the sandwiches, running to Tesco, stealing all the cigarettes, or saying to the government, oh, I hurt my back, but yet they've got a job on the side. There's no growth there. There's no growth in laziness. There's no growth in dishonesty. So The mental toughness you will have will keep you in that mindset of resilience. I had, for example, I got kicked out of a WhatsApp group because I did something, right? Imagine Millennial Coach getting kicked out. I was like, do they know who I am? Right? Do they know who I am? So, and I said to the person, obviously I didn't see the message, so I didn't know that I was breaking a rule. And I said, how you choose to approach things, that's not how to do things. You guys want to be righteous. Let me tell you something. When you're an entrepreneur, it's not about being right, it's about being effective. Now, I got actually a great contact out of phoning people and cold calling because I'm doing a new project. And the thing is, I will go back to the person, but I need to go back to them with something of value. I'm not going to go back to them with nothing. What I like about the solo journey is that you got the freedom to change direction and pivot and reinvent yourself. You do not have to check that you now should look like this, be like that, engage this person, read this book, do this thing, travel here. You have to decide for yourself. Pivoting, when you got the ability to pivot, it makes you even more powerful than you realize. One of the other things that when you go it alone, like Jeff Bezos, even this lunatic Elon Musk, look, I talk about Donald Trump all the time. I think from what he has been in his life, he's pivoted, right, into the president of the United States. That's a game changer. Like, you can't make this up. One of the things that people say, Americans say, oh my God, you shouldn't talk about Donald Trump, it's sensitive. I talk about it from a very extraordinary perspective. This man is running a country and he started his campaign through bullying another president. Your success and your ownership of it is yours only. He did that. He convinced people he was the right person for the job and he was voted in. People might not like what he's doing in office at the moment, but he is doing something most people wouldn't do. Whether we think it's good or bad, and this is why I think it's very important not to be emotionally subjective. You need to be unemotional and objective. When you go it alone, you start attracting the right people. I started this little podcast at home. Now I'm in the studio. Next, I want to be on a stage. And I'm going to bring that into existence. I'm going to call it into existence. I want to do more interviews with people of substance. I want to really learn and talk about leadership from a completely different dynamic. And I don't want to talk about what you need to do. I want people to know when you are leading and you're empowering yourself, it is painful. You will have days where you just cannot go to the next level. You don't have capacity. Your brain's done. You're finished. And why I'm saying that, there was a week my partner in crime, Dylan, shout out to Dylan over there in Texas. He's my accountability partner. I have two, one's in Idaho. Don't ask me why they're Americans. My American people love the work I do and they understand the value that I give. I think the UK, we need to kind of speed up with what I'm about. And he said, he phoned, we had a Zoom call and I was like, I've had enough, I'm done. Forget the Millennial Coach, I'm fed up, it's too much, it's not working, people are not watching. That's how I'm feeling. That was how I was feeling. And I updated my logo. He said, I'm scared to give you feedback because you really, really might quit. Because he was like, don't worry, this is just part of the journey. And then after 2 days, I was back to my normal self, like, right, what do we need to do? How do we need to elevate? Blah, blah, blah. Why I'm saying this to you guys, I've had days where I'm like, this is a lot of work. And it is. People don't realize the solo journey, your thinking, your financing, your energy, you're trying to stay healthy, you're trying to actually look decent. It's a lot of work. You're trying to create a brand that actually is sustainable, but sustainable in a way that works for you. And again, I don't want to do what everyone else is doing. So when you are doing the work, the right people will come to you. And at the moment, the little team of people I have in my arsenal, they believe in what I'm doing and they support me and they encourage me. And I feel very lucky and abundant to have attracted those people. So wherever you are on your journey, the power of doing it alone, take time, look around, look at who is in your corner and work with them to elevate and make yourself successful. You don't necessarily need a big team, you need a loyal team. And you need people that understand your journey. Because when you're doing it alone, you are at a deficit on so many levels. And I want to add one more thing before I end. Doing it alone, you can bring in AI. It is changing every entrepreneur's life. You're able to scale faster, you're able to have quicker output, accuracy, and consistency. These elements are allowing you to be amazing. Do not get it twisted when I say, I feel very blessed. I don't have everything in place, but I don't need to. What I've done is started. So I just want to say on a final note, growth isn't easy and isn't about waiting for people to support you. Sometimes it's about serendipity. There's places I've been that I really wanted to go and I've met great people. There's places I've been invited to, I've committed to, and I've met great people who are now part of this story. Taking action is important. Being resilient is important. Also resting on your solo journey, taking a week out, 2 weeks out is also very important, but also very productive. It's not always about the doing, it's sometimes about the resting. So to those of you going on your solo journey of leadership, entrepreneurship, it is a lonely road. And there are days that you have no one to talk to or bounce off of. But keep going, because the gold is on the other side. So now I want you to just reach out and let me know, have you ever had to grow alone if you're in your success era? And what were the key takeaways for you? Drop a comment below. Like, share, and subscribe to your people, your network, your friends, your family. Just send it to everyone right now. Do me a solid. Remember, I've still got bills to pay. I am the Millennial Coach. You've been locked into the core, and I want to thank you so much for spending time with me. See you soon.
Hey everyone, this is Hill Street Soul. And you're tuned in to the core with the Millennial Coach, discussing topics on real life. Check it out. Everywhere you go, don't forget the ghetto. Listen to the core. Don't forget the ghetto. With the Millennial Coach. Don't forget the ghetto. 'Cause it's the best show.